Okay. Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I want to welcome everybody to our class entitled Enjoining Good and Forbidding Evil. And this is a very good topic of Islam that most Muslims need to acquaint themselves with, because as a Muslim, every day of your life is going to be spent enjoining what is good and forbidding what is evil. But in order to do it correctly, you have to know what the good is and you have to know what the evil is. Can anybody tell us what is the good and what is the evil? When it comes to enjoining the good and forbidding the evil, what is the good and what is the evil? Can anyone answer that question for us? What is good and what is evil?
The good is everything that Allah.
Go ahead.
The good is everything that Allah has enjoined us to partake in, and the evil is everything Allah forbade us to partake in.
Okay, what do you guys think about our answer? Good job. That's correct. Yes, the good. A lot of Muslims ask me this question too, and I get a lot of the new shahadas or some of the Muslims that are new to practicing their deen, because let's not, be deluded. A lot of us grow up in Islam and, don't understand the religion well, and we don't practice it correctly. And then one day an awakening occurs within the heart, known as the fitra, and we now want to practice right. A lot of people will ask me, Sister Laila, what is the good in Islam? Well, the good is everything that Allah made lawful. And that's why we have to be so careful as Muslims saying that things are not lawful. Because if you say that something is not lawful for us to do, you're saying that that thing is bad, that thing is dirty. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that only Allah has the authority to determine what's good and what's bad and what's dirty and clean. So, for example, you can't tell Muslim women, and you brothers are going to have to stop that, because Arabic women know better. I'm just going to be honest. The Arabic women, know better because they understand the language. They understand the language. You can't tell no Arabic woman that makeup is haram when she reads those hadiths about how even during when Allah sent down the verses. This is in Sahih Bukhari. How when Allah sent down the command for us to how when Allah sent down the command for what to do with the hadi when making hajj, for the hadi, Ali radiallahu anha was the one leading the hajj group. And the Prophet was sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This was the first hajj the Muslims made, and they didn't allow the Prophet to attend it. So, but when Allah sent down the revelation about the hadi, the Prophet sent a messenger to Ali for Ali to share that with the people. And when Ali shared what to do, his wife, who was the daughter of the Prophet, Fatima, she was there. And she said, oh, if I had known this, I would not have removed my makeup. I would not have removed my makeup. I would have kept my makeup on my face. Whenever you sisters or read a hadith that mentions kohol is makeup. Remember, Arabic is not like English. One Arabic word can mean 300 different things. Kohol is antimony. And what is an antimony? It's makeup too. What you guys see that I wear kohol. This is Egyptian kohol. Hard to put on, but don't it look good? That's why I love my Egyptian kohol. Okay, this is Egyptian kohol. Okay, it's very hard to put on, but it looks good. This is makeup and this is antimony. Okay? And this is what all the Arabic women wore. This is what all the Persian women wore. Roman women too. This was the makeup of the day. Kohol has been around for a long time. And that's what I have on. Okay? So you can't tell people that makeup is haram because it's not. The prophets' wives, the mothers of the believers wore makeup. Women have been wearing makeup since Allah created Eve. And again, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the unlawful things have been clearly defined by Allah. So if I'm going to tell you it's haram to do something, I have to bring the clear nas or the clear verse that says thou shalt not wear makeup. There is no verse in the Quran nor any authentic hadith on planet Earth that says makeup is haram, because the mothers of the believers wore it. Also, another thing, when I'm getting ready to tell them now with my sister Wafat, who's an Islamic studies professor at the University of, she's in Abu Dhabi. She said also henna. Whenever you read those hadiths about henna, henna is makeup. Henna is makeup, and the Arabic women would decorate their faces with henna. Why? Because each tribe, you sisters from Africa can understand this. My Bantus understand this. The tribal designs, every Arabic tribe had their official designs. And the women would put the makeup of their designs on their face too. You know, makeup's been worn all the time. In fact, even archaeologists will tell you, when they come upon the tombs of Egypt, the dead pharaohs and dead women who were died centuries ago, they always found makeup in the women's tombs. Makeup's been around since Allah made Eve. And that's just part of the one nature of the woman, to beautify herself. And Islam does not forbid that. As I talked about earlier today, Islam forbids women from becoming public spectacles. Islam does not forbid us from being beautiful. Islam forbids us from going out the house deliberately, intentionally, trying to seek attention from the opposite sex. It's known as prostituting ourselves. That's what Islam forbids us. But it does not tell us women that we have to be unattractive. You're not going to find any hadith, I repeat, and I challenge you. You're not going to find any hadith that's authentic on planet Earth that where anyone has described the prophet's wives as being ugly, trifling, unattractive when they left the house. There's no such thing. That's an oxymoron, because Islam teaches us as Muslim women and men to be better than the non-Muslims, to stand out, to be distinct from the other people. And everything good and clean is what Allah loves. Allah hates those things that are ugly. He hates ugliness. He hates filthiness. He hates triflingness. He loves beauty. Everybody got that? So, you know, subhanAllah, in order to enjoy the good and forbid the evil, we have to first of all learn what the good is. Learn what the evil is. The good is everything that Allah made lawful. And as our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, the things that Allah has not mentioned are all good and clean. He said most things in life, in our everyday life, is lawful. Allah doesn't mention nothing about makeup. So that means makeup is good and clean. Allah doesn't mention anything about colors for women. So that means colors for women is good and clean. But the things that are haram are mentioned. It's haram to eat pork. It's haram to eat animals with fangs. It's haram to eat claws. It's haram to eat a dead animal. It's haram to take narcotics that are intoxicants. It's haram to fornicate. It's haram to lie. It's haram to steal. So the lawful and unlawful have been defined for Allah and we have to learn what Allah has taught us. That's the first step in enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. But unfortunately, we transgress this. Many of us fall into sin. We fall into sinful actions. And sinful actions, how do we define sinful actions in Islam? Who can answer this? This is what we talked about last week. How do we define sinful actions? What are sinful actions? If I tell you that you're doing a sinful action, what am I basically saying in plain, simple, grassroots English? What's a sinful action?
An action that doesn't burden you, something easy to do, and as long as it's for the sake of Allah.
Is that how we define a sinful action? What do you guys think about her answer?
I'm sorry, you said sinful. I thought you said simple.
Oh, no. A sinful, S-I-N-F-U-L. What are sinful actions? What are sinful actions? We got to know what is a sin. If I tell you that you're doing a sinful action, what am I basically saying?
Actions that disobey Allah, or actions that go. Can't really say it. But
if an action is an action of disobedience to Allah, that's good. That's the answer. A sinful action is when you indulge in something that Allah has commanded us not to do. Good job, Precious. So if I do something that Allah commanded me to not do, I'm committing a sin. If Allah says do not fornicate, but I go out and fornicate, I disobeyed him. That's a sin. And we talked about how when we commit sins fall in 3 categories. There are 3 different types of sins. This is our quiz. Good job, Precious. Who can tell us what are the 3 different types of sins? Sins are actions of disobedience. Okay. What are the 3 different types of sins? And also, by the way, let me give y'all a clue to what I'm looking for in the answer. Sins are also actions of oppression. Oppression. That's another word that I want you guys to familiarize yourself with. What does it mean to oppress? Can somebody give me the meaning of oppression? What is the meaning of oppression? Oppression means to cause harm. To cause harm to something. To violate the rights of something. That's the meaning of oppression, to cause harm or to violate the rights of something. And when we talk about oppression, when we talk about violating the rights of something, there are 3 different types. What are the different types of sin? What are the 3 different? There's 3 different types of sins. There are 3 different types of violations, in other words. There are 3 different types of oppressions. What are the 3 different types of oppressions or sins or violations? Can anyone answer that? Now y'all know what I'm looking for without giving an answer away?
Is one of them committing shirk, like associating parties with Allah? Is that the type of sin?
No, I didn't. I didn't ask to give me a sin. I don't want you guys to start naming sins. I want you guys to tell me that sins can fall in 3 categories. They can fall in 3 categories of oppression, or 3 categories of violation. What are the 3 categories?
I can only think of 2. I don't even know if to me, physical, putting your hands on me, emotional, messing with my mind. I can't think of nothing.
No, that's not true. That's what the non-Muslims come up with. That's psychology. That's the Carteria stuff. I want y'all to think like Muslims, not like Carteria.
Would it be a sin against yourself?
Mashallah.
Others? Sin against Allah?
Mashallah. Those are the three categories. The three categories of sin. Either you're committing a sin against yourself or an oppression against yourself. Good job, Faiza. Either an oppression, sins are all. Let me write this down so you guys can really get it. I'm going to put this on a tickler. I want y'all to write this down. Look on your phone. I'm getting ready to make a tickler since I'm not using PowerPoint for this. This is my quiz, so I'm not using PowerPoint for it. But if I thought y'all would know the answer, to be honest. If I know y'all didn't, I would have made a quiz or PowerPoint. Okay, let me make it like this. Hold on, let me add a. There are three types. No, first, let's start off with this. What are sins? What are sins? Sins are actions of oppression or violation. That's the first thing I want y'all to write down. Let's see if that tickler. Look at the tickler at the bottom. Show it. Y'all see that? What are sins? The correct answer is sins are actions of oppression or violation. Can y'all see that on the tickler, Margaret? Look at the tickler for those of you on social media. Those of you in my Zoom room, you're going to have to just write it down or look at it on YouTube. Okay, so what are sins? Sins are actions of oppression or violation. Also, sins fall in three categories or groups. As Faiza said, the first group are sins or oppressions against yourself. Good job. Give me an example. Who can give me an example? Let me write that down so y'all can see it. Look at the tickler. And this is what I've been doing, guys, for the other classes that don't use PowerPoints. Y'all see that? Sins fall in three categories or three groups. You got the first group, which are sins of oppression against yourself or sins against yourself. Give me an example of a sin against yourself. Can anybody think of a sin that against yourself? In other words, it only harms you. A sin against yourself. These are sins that harm. Let me make it even better. Sins that harm only you. Okay, that would be an example. That's the first category. Let me put it up here better. Look at the tickler so y'all can see it. Here it is. Sins fall into three categories or groups. The first group, sins that harm only you. Who can give me an example of a sin that harms only yourself? Good job. Good job, Sakina. Hold on, guys. Sakina, she wrote using drugs. Good job. Let me write that down. Hold on. I'm trying to, y'all don't know that I didn't prepare for this. Intoxicants. What's another sin against yourself that harms only you?
I would say gluttony.
Okay, intoxicants. Gluttony, which is overeating. Gluttony, you're only harming yourself. What's another sin against yourself?
Being arrogant, prideful, and selfish.
Okay, selfishness. Well, yeah, selfishness. Okay, let me put this tickler back up. Y'all see the tickler? Show it. Let me see. There it is. So what are sins? Sins are actions of oppression. And they fall into three categories of groups. The first group are sins that harm only you. Such examples are intoxicants, gluttony, selfishness. And what's the second category, Faiza? What was the second category of sins, Faiza?
Oppression against others.
Okay, the second group. Good job. The second group of sins are sins or oppressions. Oh God, I can't type on here. Against others. Who can give me an example of a sin that harms others?
Two of them will be murder and stealing.
Okay, sins that harm. Yeah, I'm gonna make it simpler. Somebody just typed here. This brother from the Emirates ain't got a problem coming in my thread, huh? He's trying to help me teach. Okay, sins that harm others, such as murder. And what was the other one?
Stealing.
Stealing. Anybody looking on Facebook? What do they come up with on YouTube and Facebook? Oh, let me see. I'll see. Yeah, good job. Abuse. Abuse. What did you say?
Lying.
Well, lying is too broad. Depends on what type of lying. Stealing, murder. What's another sin that harms others? Oh, this is harm. Yeah, lying. You're right, lying. I'm sorry, this is others. Lying. You can harm others. Good job. Okay, so let me put that up. I'm just doing three things here. Y'all don't see how hard this is to write this tickler. So look at the tickler. The first category of sins that harm only you, such as doing intoxicants, overeating, being selfish. Sins that harm others, murder, lying, stealing. What's the third category? What's the third category of sin, guys? And I think Faiza got that one wrong. But what I can't remember what she said, but she said what I think she said it was wrong. What's the third category of sins?
Sins against Allah. I mean, right?
No, that's
Oppression against
wrong.
Allah?
No, that's wrong. Subhanallah. Anybody else?
Sins which entitles us and sins that which entitles them.
Good job, Mina. What are the third category of sins? Are sins that harm you and others. Okay? Good job, Mina. Let me find that caption again. Good job. Oh, wait a minute. Did I put it here? Okay. The third category of sins are sins that harm yourself and others. And give me an example of a sin that will harm me and others.
Like sexual immorality, like being intimate with the same sex that harms yourself and others.
No. Something else, guys. Give me another. This person.
Adultery and gambling.
I mean, this brother.
Adultery, fornication.
Wait a minute, this brother is nuking the heck out of me. Hold on, let me turn my protection on. He's nuking me so bad I can't even type. You know, you need to really get a life. Okay, go ahead again with your answers. Wait a minute. Hold on. He's really nuking. Hold on. I'm going to do this. And turn on my, let me turn on my protection. Okay. Give me another. I couldn't understand you. Okay, go ahead. What's another sin that harms yourself and others? Give me an example.
Adultery and fornication. You're
Both
harming
of them?
yourself and others.
Is it both or just one? Which one? Between adultery and fornication, Between adultery and fornication, which one harms yourself? Just yourself.
Adultery.
Nope, it's backwards. Fornication, because in Islam, a fornicator is a person that ain't married. I'm single. All I'm doing is hurting myself. So if I go out and have sex with the man next door, I'm just hurting myself. He's not married. I'm not married. We just hurting ourselves. But why is it that adultery is a sin that harms myself and others? What's the difference between fornication and adultery?
Because you harming the family.
Exactly.
Messing around with.
The married sisters got it right. Faiza's not married. That's why she got it wrong. Alhamdulillah. Yes. The adultery is worse than fornication, because fornicator, I'm just harming myself. I'm just exposing myself to AIDS. I'm just exposing myself to gonorrhea. I'm just exposing myself, to herpes, chlamydia. But if I commit adultery, that's different. Not only am I exposing myself, but I'm exposing you and your wife and your other wives. Y'all understand that? That's why we have to be careful. And that's why you brothers have to use the utmost care when y'all take on 2, 3, or 4 wives. You want to marry women who are #1 Muslim. So ain't no chlamydia happening in here. Ain't no gonorrhea coming through here. You want to marry righteous, believing, God-fearing women who know what their roles are and know what it means to guard themselves. Women that can be like Layla, intimidating when I'm public. So a man know, look but don't touch. Okay? Not the woman that's soft and sweet, and I'm showing you my saw-be-raw, my inner sweetness, so you're going to take it. A man ain't going to take nothing from Layla. He going to think twice, but he try to take anything from here. I'm guarding in my man's absence what he would have me guard, because my sweetness, my inner sweetness is only for him. It's only for his eyes. It's only for his touch, not the touch of no other man. That's why you sisters got to be rough and tough publicly. That's what that means. Guard in your husband's absence what he'd have you guard. Y'all got it? So adultery. Adultery is an example of a sin that impacts not only myself, but others. Give me another example of a sin that harms myself and others. Give me another example.
I would say corruption.
Corruption is broad. What type of corruption? If I mix peas and carrots together, I corrupted it. I don't know what you mean by corruption.
Fraud.
It's too broad. Give me another example, guys, of a sin that harms me and somebody else.
Injustice and breaking the family ties, because that's their right for you, so that's others, and then you, because you'll be punished.
No, y'all making it too hard. Okay. Come on, guys. Y'all know the stuff that's going on in the world. Y'all can't think of something that harms me and everybody else.
Polluting water.
That's a good one. Exactly. Polluting water pollution. If I pollute the water, I'm not just harming myself, but everyone else that is exposed to that water. Not only the people, but the creatures in the sea and all of that. Good job. What's another example?
Boycotting goods.
No. That ain't nothing to do with this. What else?
Not being clean.
No. What is wrong with y'all? Y'all some airheads. I hate to say it. I got some airheaded women in here, man. Woo! What about if I got high?
Huh?
Oh yeah, because a car accident.
Okay, well, y'all need to start thinking realistically. Y'all answers should have to do with the world today, not this stuff that's just airheaded. Give better answers than what y'all giving. Try to make y'all answers relate to what's happening in the world today with your children and stuff. Don't come up with some stupid airheaded stuff. I mean, come on. What about this? Smoking weed. And then getting in a car.
It befogs the mind, so you're not making conscious decisions.
Girl, that is the most airheaded. Let me give my answer. Smoking weed and then getting in a car and driving.
You're gonna hit, you might kill somebody. You're just
right. So what do all that befogging got to do with anything? Just say the truth. Y'all got to keep it real. You know, getting high and driving a car. Drunk driving, good job, like the sister typed here. Let me take smoking weed out. Just drunk driving. Drunk driving. Selling drugs, good job. Y'all got to stop all the storybook stuff. Get real. This is the world today. Selling drugs.
Drive-by shooting.
Drive-by shootings. Yeah, that type of stuff, guys. Come on, that don't make the religion hard. So those are examples. Let me show it to you on the screen. Examples of sins that only oppress you or only harm you are sins such as fornication, taking drugs, overeating. Being selfish was an airhead answer, but I took it. Number 2, sins that harm others are sins like murder. Good job. Stealing, fraud. Your fraud answer would have went in there, Norto. Lying. But sins that harm me and others are adultery, drunk driving. Good job. Texting while driving. Good job. This is thinking outside the box. Driving a car and texting. That's harming me and somebody else. I'm putting other people that's on the road at expense. Good job, Nicola. Good job, Pamela. Selling alcohol to others. Oh, God, yeah. Y'all got to, I want y'all's answers to match what's happening in the world. Be real. Be down to earth. Okay? All right.
Can we say suicide for the first one?
Yeah, if you commit suicide, you ain't hurt nobody but yourself. Who'd you hurt by killing yourself? Nobody but you. You're going to be doing it over and over in hell, not me. I'll cry for you, but that's it. You hurt you, not me. And when we talk about hurting, good job, Norta, with that question. So when we talk about sins that hurt other people, I mean sins that hurt you. Hurt me how? Hurt me either physically or hurt me in my relationship with Allah. Good job. It can hurt you in 2 ways. It can hurt you physically, or it can hurt you in your relationship with Allah. When we speak about sins against others, sins that can hurt them personally or hurt them in their relationship with Allah. For example, if I sat here and I was teaching you Islam based on my understanding, my opinion, am I hurting me, or am I hurting you, or am I hurting you and me? What category is that?
It's both.
Yes, both. I'm hurting myself and you. But I'm hurting myself by holding, Allah is going to ask me, and he's going to punish me for not teaching his religion correctly. And number 2 is hurting you because I'm giving you misinformation. So that's why people who are dawah, people of the dawah, people who are daya, we have to be very, very cautious. Teach what you qualify to teach. Stay in your lane. Hashtag don't get it twisted. Stay in your lane. What would I look like teaching you how to speak Arabic when I don't speak Arabic? Okay? What do I look like teaching you the Hadith when I don't even know what a Hadith is? Okay, I'm harming you and me. So any type of action of disobedience that we commit, I want y'all to, that's going to be your homework assignment. Ask yourself, which category does it fall in? Is it a sin against myself? Is it a sin against myself and somebody else? Or is it a sin against just someone else? Backbiting. That's a sin against who? What category does backbiting fall in? Is that a sin against myself? A sin against myself and someone else, or sin? Or sin just against someone else? Which category is backbiting? Y'all can't think? Anybody? Norto?
A sin against yourself?
Okay, do y'all agree with her answer? If I backbite you, is that just a sin against myself?
Yeah, I say both, because if you backbite, you taking away from their honor.
Exactly. You know what? Y'all got to know what backbite. Y'all know what backbiting is. How can you say it's just against you? I'm talking about you like a dog behind your back. Aren't I hurting you too? Oh yeah. It's both. Good job, Sister Akins. So I want y'all to do that. Think about different sins that you may commit and ask yourself, are you just harming yourself, or are you harming yourself and someone else? Or are you just harming someone else? We have to be careful. Exactly, Jamila. Exactly, Sister Halima. So that's what we talked about the last time we met. And so today I'm going to continue this. Let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen. Hold on. You guys did pretty good with this quiz. I want y'all to start thinking like that, because, you know, we all, none of us, and let me answer your, yeah, okay. The brother here is asking a question. Okay, the brother here is asking me, let me answer the question, bro. Why, y'all see why we women have to maintain this demeanor? Okay. All right. The brother here is asking me. Let me ban this person out. Hold on. Okay, I got him. Okay, the brother here is asking me, Sister Laila, put it in English. Don't put it in Arabic. I can't read the Arabic. All right, I'm just going to ignore these brothers. I don't know what these brothers are doing. Why do y'all come in my thread anyway with this? But anyway, let me just put my PowerPoint up on the screen, because I don't want to be wasting my time. I done banned one of them.
Sister Laila?
Yeah.
I have a question. For some reason, I remember there was maybe a fourth category, oppression against Allah.
No, that's that's a different topic.
Oh, okay.
I know where you are with that. You're remembering another, yeah, but this is just the 3 types of sins. You're talking about the 3 worst. Yeah, that's a different, we're going to get to that. But no, the sins against the law are the worst sins, but that's a different part. This is the 3 sins against us humans as a nation, not a law. I don't want to know about the sins against the law, their sins against the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam too. I'm going to save them for another class. Those 2 for another class. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen. But I'm glad you remembered that. That shows you remember this lecture. You remember this class. That means you can teach this class because you remember it. Yeah. Okay. Let me put this up, because that's going to be next week's lecture. All right. Hold on. Yeah, brother. Yes, I'm getting ready to. Yes. Y'all want me to leave that on the screen? Okay. One of my new shahadas here. You just came in? Yes. Yeah, I want everybody to look at the tickler. This is what I did with Dr. Dramali's lecture too, and Brother Mukhtar's. What I'm trying to do for the brothers that don't use PowerPoint, and since some of you have a problem, you know, taking notes, that's why I tell you guys, look at the tickler. Because when the classes are going on, my classes, the ticklers are all about donating because I use PowerPoint. But when the other brothers are here teaching, if I can, I'll try to do just like this, summarize the major points in the tickler so y'all can take notes. Because I know a lot of you have a hard time, especially the kids do, with the note taking. So yeah, I'll keep that going on the screen for you. Oh, your mother told you to write it down for her? Okay, good, good. That's what I'm talking about. I got the kids here too. So I'll keep that tickler going. I'm glad I was getting ready to take it down. Yeah, your mother wants it written down. Yeah, your mom needs to work on it. So yeah, write it down for your mom. Yeah, your mom has a hard time. Sometimes we adults have problems. You know, we need the cheering to help us keep it real. So yeah, write it down for your mom. I'll keep it on the screen. Okay, let me put the PowerPoint up for tonight's lecture. I don't know what's going on with these brothers in the Emirates, man. Just ridiculous. Okay, hold on. Let me go in here to my Zoom room first. Okay. Yeah, screen share. Put it on the TV, guys. I'm getting ready to show the PowerPoint now. Here it comes. Enjoining good PowerPoint. Bam. Yeah. And for the kids, my PowerPoint, just take screenshots. Use your cell phone or your iPad to take the screenshots. But I'll keep that little tickler going for the latecomers. All right. For those 3 different types of sin. Yeah. Categories. All right. So here we go. Today, I want to speak about how the good must support that which is good. And the bad must support the bad. What am I talking about here? It sounds very confusing. Well, let's get to it. I want you guys to ponder this hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever establishes a good practice will receive your reward for it, along with the rewards of anyone who follows you in doing that action. And you will receive their rewards and your reward until the day of judgment, without the people who are following you, without their rewards being reduced. And on the other hand, whoever does a bad action, a bad tradition, you establish a bad tradition, you will be assigned full responsibility for that, and the responsibility of everyone who follows you in that bad tradition to the day of judgment. Boy, this is a scary hadith. It's speaking about innovation, yes. It's speaking about introducing something into this religion that was not an original part of it. Meaning that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't do it, but you invented this. And everybody is imitating you in doing it. You were the first to do this innovation, or you were the first to do this bad deed, and now everyone is copying you. Can anybody think of an example? And this is one of the signs of the last hour. There'll be a lot of Muslims establishing bad traditions. Can anybody give me an example of a bad tradition that Muslims are doing today that they shouldn't be doing?
Wiping their face.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I want something. Talk about what's happening today. No, we don't need no storybook answers. Think outside that little box y'all live in. Okay? What is something that Muslims are doing today that is not a part of this religion? There you go, Juma Mubarak. Y'all see her answer, Nisa? Y'all got to come out of this little storybook land. I want you guys to take what I am teaching you and apply it to your life in this world, what's happening today. Because when you apply this to what's happening today, you'll be able to handle the trials of life. You'll be able to accept the qadr of Allah. You'll understand why Allah sent this war. The war is not just against Gaza. This is the war against Islam. It started in the 1990s with the Bush regime. It started with Iraq, when Iraq went into Kuwait, when the Taliban were doing their thing, Bosnia. Okay? Desert Storm. This war been going on. This was all leading to the war against Islam. This ain't new. Okay? Like the prophet said, it'll start in all those eastern countries. And then it'll hit the west. Well, it's at the end of the eastern countries. It's in the part of the world where Israel is now. What's going to happen? It's going to now then spread to the United Kingdom, to Australia, to America. This is the beginning of the war against Islam. I want y'all to start thinking with what's happening today instead of this storybook crap. Okay? What's a big tradition that's going on that's an innovation? Juma Mubarak. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't wish nobody no Juma Mubarak. We don't go around saying Happy Friday. This is imitating the non-Muslims. They the ones that do Happy Sunday, Happy Easter, Happy Christmas. So can you imagine? And I'm going to tell y'all where that began. Juma Mubarak began with some African American here in America. Oh, yeah. It began in the early 2000s. A woman converted to Islam from Christianity, and she loved her Sundays. When she found out that Friday is our day, as she called our day of Sabbath, she started wishing everybody on social media, on MySpace. Oh, it was MySpace back then. Juma Mubarak. Happy Friday, people. Can y'all imagine the punishment she's going to get? Because here it is, 2024 now. Muslims all over the world have adopted this bad tradition. Can y'all see the punishment that woman is going to get? Even after she dead and gone. What's another example of a bad tradition?
Celebrating the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's birthday.
MashaAllah, that's another one. Now that began years ago. That began right after the time of the companions. Can y'all imagine the Qadariya that began that? Okay? Whoever was the one that decided we're going to replace Jesus Christ, superstar, with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Can you imagine the sin? What's another? Give me one that relates to today. We have a real bad tradition. We have a very bad tradition that began in the early 2000s. And it began right here in America. Well, not in America. It began really over in the Middle East in Saudi Arabia. And the brother who began it got kicked out of Saudi Arabia. But he had American followers. What am I talking about? Give me a one that relates to today. A bad tradition that we should never do. But Muslims are doing it today. Our youth are doing it. Come on. Y'all can't think? And it's a sure sign that the last hour, that the war against Islam is about to happen. Come on, people. I can't believe I don't have no answers.
Are you trying to answer?
Go ahead. I mean, why aren't you answering? Go ahead.
It's haram to do Happy New Year's and stuff like Christmas and Halloween and
Oh yeah, this is true. Celebrating holidays, that's another one. Whoever started, whatever Muslim started that crap, you look in the Muslims' lands, they decorate for Christmas and all that. Yeah, they're going to have to pay the sin of that. But I'm speaking about something else that's happening every day on YouTube. And can you imagine? Y'all
Happy birthday.
That's another one. But that's not the one I'm talking about. Come on, y'all, take it real. In fact, it's a sacrilege for us.
Yes, they're debating on TikTok and social media about their religion with other faiths like Christianity or whatnot.
I need more details, though.
Like they will have like.
What is the bad tradition that they're doing? What is whoever establishes a bad tradition will be assigned its full responsibility. What is it about? Arguing about what? What are they doing that's really bad in Islam to do? Debating is bad, but this makes it worse. What are they
from the Bible?
Exactly. Learning the Bible. Learning the Bible. Where does Allah tell us to go learn what the Bible says? Where does Allah tell us that? What did the Prophet Muhammad tell Umar, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? When Umar came upon a Torah, Umar began to read it, and he was following the Prophet around saying, listen to this. And he was comparing the Torah to the Quran. And the Prophet got angry. What's the source? Sahih Bukhari. The Prophet got angry. He said, first of all, the Torah does not exist. Allah destroyed that book and he replaced it with the Quran. So you don't know if what is in that book you are reading is true or not. When did this start? When did this picking up a Bible, going through the Bible, picking verses and trying to compare them with verses of the Quran, can y'all see why the brother that began that, he got kicked out of Saudi Arabia for that? They exiled him. That was back when we had the real scholars. I ain't talking about these shaker come a dime a dozen. I'm talking about Bin Baz, Uthaymeen, the real scholars. They said, oh, you can't do this. Where do you get off reading the Bible and calling the Muslims to read it? You're teaching the Muslim youth of our nation. In fact, it was Sheikh Bin Baz. May Allah forgive him of all his sins. He was the one that told him, you can't do that. You're basically teaching the Muslim youth, that there's, we can go and read a Bible when this contradicts Islam. This violates well better. Our allegiance is to Allah. Allah says that he destroyed the Bible. He destroyed the original Torah. He replaced them with the Quran. And if you want to know what's in those books, read the Quran. When the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent the Muslims to King Negus, and his cousin Jafar read when the king asked Jafar to tell me about Mary, tell me about Jesus. Jafar did not quote verses from the Bible and try to compare them with the Quran. He quoted what Allah says in the Quran about Mary and Jesus. So can y'all imagine the sin? And then what happened in America in the early 2000s, late 90s? We had a bunch of Christian ministers, and we had a bunch of Christian priests, Catholic priests, converting to Islam. And these men didn't know anything about Islam, and they still don't know anything about Islam. Because if they knew anything about Islam, they wouldn't be reading the Bible still. Okay? But these American men to keep their money going, because y'all know one of the biggest paid professions in America is the Christian monk and the Christian priest and minister. They didn't understand the Quran, but what they did know was their Bible. And they were the ones that coined this in America. Let's go pick up a Bible. Let's sit down. Look at this verse of the Bible. Let's compare it to the Quran. Y'all remember that? Look at the Virgin Mary. Look at the picture that we have of Mary. Don't she look like a Muslim woman? Don't you ever compare a nun. First of all, you don't know how Mary looked. And she don't look like them pictures that you draw of her either. But don't ever compare a Muslim woman to a nun, because a nun wish she looked like Laila Nasheeba. A nun couldn't look like me even in her best day. But those men who converted to Islam, they began the trend of the Bible, comparing the Bible to the Quran. Can y'all imagine the sin that these brothers are going to have on the day of judgment? Because now our Muslim youth, instead of learning the Hadith, Muslims today are not learning the Hadiths. They don't know the Hadiths, but they can tell you about King James Bible. They can tell you all about Genesis. They can tell you all about Mark Anthony, or I ain't never seen a Bible. Whatever the Mark is, Anthony. Oh, that's the singer. Sorry. Oh, Cleopatra. I don't know. But they can tell you all about the Bible, but they don't know what La ilaha illallah means. That's an example. And by the way, the prophet said when the Muslims start doing this, this is when Allah will send war. Y'all want to know why the war is happening in Gaza and Africa? Blame it on yourselves. Blame it on reading the Bible. Okay, so this hadith is something that we need to really ponder. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, let your good be good, you want to establish the good traditions, the things that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us to do. That's what happened with Umar radiallahu anha after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had died. Before the Prophet Muhammad had died, during the month of Ramadan, he led the people in Taraweeh 3 times for 3 nights. And then he stopped after the 3rd night. The reason he stopped after the 3rd night was because he didn't want the Muslims to think that praying the night prayer was an obligation. But he was the prophet. He could do that. Then when Umar became the caliph and he saw during Ramadan the brothers praying alone by themselves, the Taraweeh, he gathered them together and he led them as one. And then the next day when he saw this, that they did this together as one, he said, what a good tradition that we have brought back. This is a good tradition of the Prophet that he couldn't continue to do because he didn't want the Muslims to think that the Taraweeh prayer was an obligation. But now that the Prophet is dead, the revelation has ceased. This is a good tradition to bring back and do for the blessings. And imagine the reward that Umar radiallahu anha will get for that, and is getting for that to this day for all of us that come together to do Taraweeh during Ramadan. So this is a powerful hadith. When we talk about enjoining good and forbidding evil, we have to make sure that what we are enjoining is truly good and that it's not bad. Does everybody understand that? Okay. And that's the hadith, right? Yeah. Okay. Hold on. My PowerPoint done went berserk. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me fix this up. I don't know where I hit a button. Hold on, guys. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I hit a button. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. So Check out this verse of the Quran. Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, many of the people of the book wish that they could turn you back to what you were before your faith. They wish for you to be unbelievers out of the jealousy that originates within themselves for you. Now, in this verse, Allah is letting it know that many of the people who commit sins, they know that what they're doing is wrong. But being humans, we like people to indulge in sin with us. So they love anyone who agrees with them in the evil that they're doing, and they will encourage them. Just like these brothers who started this reading the Bible stuff. They may have felt within themselves that it was something bad. They may have felt that it was something they shouldn't do, but that money, they had to keep their fame as ministers, as priests. They had to make their living. So when they convinced others to do it with them, oh yeah, that reassured them. That reassured them and gave them the confidence to continue it. So each group of people is loyal and devoted to those who agree with them. And each group of people becomes hostile against those who don't agree with them. Even with us sisters here. Those sisters who were taught that they have to cover their faces, they have to cover their hands, they have to be ugly, they cannot wear nice clothing. They only support those who believe like them. And when they come upon a sister like me, who's representing the opposite, they become hostile. They're the ones that jump in your thread and post bad comments to you and tell you that you're going to hell and tell you that you need to fear Allah. This is just how the nature of the human is. We're going to join up with people who act like us, who behave like us, who think like us. As Allah says in the Quran about the hypocrites, in the interpretation of the meaning, they wish that you would disbelieve as they have disbelieved, so that you'll all be the same. That's the nature of the human being too. We want to be superior over each other. If we can't be superior, then we want to be equal. We don't want to think that somebody understands this deen better than us, or someone knows better than us. As Uthman radiallahu anha said, the adulteress will wish that all women committed adultery like her. The alcoholic will wish that everyone drank alcohol like him. Okay? You want to share in the same sin. So this is the problem that we face, as human beings, as Muslims. Also, there's a second problem too. Some of us may enjoin the good upon a person just to get them to participate in our unlawful actions. How many people like that? And if they agree to do what you do, then they leave them alone. Say, for example, you don't wear hijab, but there's a Muslim woman a Muslim girl in your class in school who does wear hijab. She's making you feel guilty. So you will try to get close to her and you will try to convince her that she doesn't have to wear hijab, just to see if you can break her. And then one day she comes to school without a hijab on and you say, okay, I won. She's just like me. So now you leave her to herself. You're no longer friends with her. That's why we have to teach our children. It's important to be distinct. And our distinctiveness is already defined to us by Allah. We have to act, dress, behave, speak the way Allah commands, not the way man wants you to. Because when man finally gets what he wants from you, he's going to break you. He's broken you and he's going to leave you to yourself. You're no longer important. Remember, it's something that my mother taught me when I was growing up as a Muslim, the only Muslim in my neighborhood and my school in the 60s. My mother said, don't worry about them talking about you. Let them talk about you. It's when they stop talking about you that you need to worry. And that's true. When they stop talking about me, that means that they broke me, that they made me like them. As long as they continue to talk about me, then that means I'm better than them, that I'm stronger than them. Remember, Allah says in the Quran, in the interpretation of meaning, and those who believe are stronger in their love for Allah than those who don't. So I don't care what the people say, for example, about my dawah, about my loud voice, about how I have to be intimidating. Allah commands it. Allah commands it. Now, if I was just teaching women, that's one thing. But I'm sorry, the reality is 70% of the people in here are men. And I have to be loud. I have to be intimidating publicly. So I don't care about the critiques from the peanut gallery, because the peanut gallery is a peanut, and a peanut can be stomped on. A peanut can crack. I'm not a peanut. I'm a pineapple. And I'm stronger in my faith and my love for Allah than the peanut gallery is. Everybody understand that? Teach that to your children. Okay? So the good must be good. And also the evil must be met with good too. That's why Allah commands us as Muslims to face all evil actions with their opposites. Just like a doctor addresses an illness with its opposite. So we have to look at ourselves and change the condition of ourselves. We have to do good deeds and do them the way Allah commanded while avoiding the bad deeds. Does everybody understand that? In other words, don't fall victim to the environment around you. Even though you're surrounded by Muslims that don't practice, even though you're surrounded by Muslims who do commit sins, don't fall victim to them and to what they're doing. As Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, by the passing of time, verily man is in abject loss, except for those who believe in Allah and who do good deeds and who remind each other of the truth and who advise one another to have patience. Because remember, guys, there's going to be more people in hell than paradise. Out of every 1,000 people in your lifetime, 999 of them are going to be in hell. You want to be that one that makes it to paradise. And the only way you can make it to paradise is by doing what Allah commands and being reminded and reminding others of the truth of Islam and having patience, not giving in to the environment. As Imam Shafi said, if all of the people were to ponder these words right here, this would be enough to help us get through our challenges in life.